The day after the last selectmen's meeting.
Hold on 1 second now. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. We're gonna discuss the budget. First item is the library, and Wayne's here to say something to talk about the library.
Wait a minute, I don't have the new library budget, so before we go there,
Is it in your,
no,
it's not in your green folder?
no. And I have 12/21. And you said it's not 12/21, right? Okay. And I just looked through that, the mess that I had. It's not there either, so 1 and 2, okay, that's all trash.
That's
That's
all
all
trash?
rubbish. Yep,
Well, everyone has to know.
that's trash, unless it's in, could be in this file. Go down a little bit, 21. Okay. 22,
Budget 22, but with the date of January 2nd.
maybe it's second wrong.
You don't even have the library.
Okay, well, there you go, I don't have one.
Yeah, just put it in your folder. I know.
I was kidding over, we wasn't kidding.
Right, but that's the new one. It is.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you, now, do you have one?
I just got myself. one.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, we
All
all.
right, thank you.
All right,
Okay, thank you for that.
here, Wayne, did you want to say something about the library?
Selectmen's
Yes,
trustees,
okay,
as promised, we voted on the final version of the budget.
Okay.
What came out in the email as the budget was not the same as what the trustees voted on. So I made a worksheet of the differences between the selectmen's budget and what was listed as the trustees' budget. It was not what the trustees voted on, but I gave it to Carol and I said, there's a difference here. She has since worked that out with Rena, and I think what you're looking at is the final corrected budget, and it's consistent with what the trustees.
So it's still at 6%.
The salary's at 6%.
Correct.
Carol insists on taking that to the board, the budget committee. To be honest, guys, I really don't think she's got much to stand on, but that's just.
The only difference,
Trustees are supporting her, and if she wants to go argue for 6%, we'll help her any way we can, but. Anyway, the budget for the trustees that's approved now is very close to what you folks approved. It's closer than it was a few days ago.
yes, so the difference, the changes that they made from what Carol originally proposed, or what they originally proposed is, they did reduce the electricity, because remember, the electricity was originally at the 7,300, which would be flat to last year, but because they didn't need to spend that much, they reduced the electricity to what the selectmen were proposing back to the 3,000.
okay,
So that is essentially the only change from the original proposal.
No, the
to-
wages went down. Oh, no, sorry.
No, what, the
Sorry, I was looking
Board
at
of
the wrong line.
Selectmen's,
Yeah,
yeah, the
okay.
Board of Selectmen's wages
I see that.
is different than what the library trustees' wages are. But other than that, everything should be the same.
okay,
Carol insists that Carol Riley insists that she wants to try the 6%.
And they dropped the electricity to 3,000.
Correct, yes. So everything else matches except for the wage line.
What was their electricity so far? Do we know?
Today, they spent as of 12/22, they spent 2208, but I can tell you what they spent as of today.
So I'm looking for. Right here,
Yeah,
electricity 2208 still, so they got one more bill
they
coming
got
in.
one more bill coming in, yeah.
And it's not gonna be more than that, if they've only spent 22.
No, yeah.
11 months, yeah. Good, then I'm. Comfortable with that.
The only budget we were waiting to have finalized.
right. I'm fine with that too. I mean,
with the electricity, but not the wages.
well, it's their budget that's gonna go to the budget committee.
Mhm.
and that's what they requested. I just say we let it go at
I
that.
disagree. I think the selectmen's recommended needs to be in line with the raises that the whole rest of the town is getting. I can't in good conscience say I'm okay with this, even though it represents a 6% increase when everybody else is getting a 4%.
Do they get, the budget committee, I guess this is more procedural, because I don't remember. They'll get this, which shows both the budget, the trustees' budget and the selectmen.
Correct.
Correct, and then the budget committee will make the essentially ultimate
final
decision.
Decision,
Got it.
correct.
Okay.
Now, if the budget committee comes back and goes, oh, I'll support the 6%, then we can revisit it at that to see if we want to align our final.
Right.
But to send to the budget remain that 125,
074.
right.
Yeah.
In that line. So now, my question is under, we did do recommended with the 3,000. Okay, so everything else, the only difference at the bottom is that difference in wages.
You got it.
2,000.
Yes, that is where I'd like to start.
Jack, your thoughts?
No, I agree with Tammy. I think that, if we're giving them across the board raise, although I recognize that the trustees have a separate responsibility to the library. But I think that we as, across the board to all employees to be equally fair.
Right.
Okay.
And they can do what they want with it too. I mean,
Right.
it's only $2,400 roughly, 23 something.
Yeah,
So the budget committee can go with our recommendation, that can go to town meeting and that can get passed. They can still give their 6% wages, they're gonna take the 2,500 out of something else, 2,400 out of something else. So it's not like they can't do it. And I don't disagree that they could be entitled to that at this point. I don't know, I haven't looked at it that closely. However, I can't in good conscience say, oh, I'm good with 6% for one department and not everybody.
The argument the library is presenting is that they have 3 part-timers who are very underpaid. And yet, the difference between 4% and 6%, 80% of that goes to the full-timers. Only 20% of the difference would actually go to the part-time.
so, and I think,
The budget committee is gonna,
well, and Wayne, I think you hit the nail on the head right there.
Well, we
Leave it
recommended
right.
that she sit down with you and go over individual wages to see if
And-
somebody or somebodies are out of line with what they should be getting or entitled to.
And we did, and we put a bunch of different scenarios together at a 4% increase, at a 6% increase, at just a dollar wage increase. We did put a couple options together. And I do think Wayne kind of hit the nail on the head, that if there are certain employees that need to be adjusted, maybe those certain
Yeah.
employees should be adjusted
Individually,
to
Yeah.
a more competitive wage and not all the employees.
other than just refusing the 6%, that might be the alternative.
Budget committee, right.
If they're in a generous.
great, okay.
All right, and I agree with that. I mean, I can see that some of those part-time people might not be getting paid, but that should be the adjustment.
Right, right.
Let that work its way.
And
through the
even if
budget
it's full-time ones that they do it adjusted to, it doesn't matter, full part, whatever, but yeah.
But looked at individually and not collectively.
Was that the only one that we needed to,
That was the only one that, yeah. that
or
we
any
had to
changes
finalize.
that we hadn't finalized?
Nope.
Okay. Do you need individual motions on individual lines or one final motion to send to the budget committee?
I think one final motion on the total operating budget and then the reserve articles and then the special warrant articles.
So the BOS recommended on the operating total of 85,10,353.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we recommend that $8,510,353 for operating total sent to the budget committee.
Second.
All those in favor?
I will make a motion to recommend $1,661,194 in reserve and trust articles. Send on.
Second.
All those in favor?
Special warrant articles, what is the 156.5?
Yeah, look,
I missed.
Look at
that,
the steps.
No, the 156.5 is the library steps, which is, 62,000.
Where is it? I don't have that.
That's on last page.
PD.
My last page is library, hilarious.
Oh, you just found it.
Found
didn't
it.
you? Found it.
Thank you. That is one. Okay.
Cruiser.
So the PD cruiser comes in at 62,000, highway block grant comes in at
Oh, gotcha,
30,000.
okay.
And then 62,000 for the library front steps, and then the 2,500 for the new
Okay.
capital reserve.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the 156,500 for special warrant articles.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. And that is a grand total of $10,328,047.
Yeah.
We'll move on.
While
to
we're on
budget
the-
committee
yeah.
Scrutiny.
While we're on the budget, just real quick, I did a little breakdown. I think it's the last page in your yellow folders. I did a little breakdown on where the budget increase comes from, the 6.61% that we're proposing.
Okay.
And if you look, 3.16% of that 6.61 is actually 2023 budget obligations that the town voted on. It's the increase to long-term debt, which is the 2 bond payments, bond interest and penalties, interest and principal payments, and then the police, the CBA agreement, the increase for the CBA agreement, and also the SRO position. That equates to 3.16 of the 6.6 that we're proposing. So in reality, additional things that we're proposing this year that haven't already been approved are really at that 3% mark, not the 6% mark. And then where the increase comes from for the 2024 budget is personnel administration, the new health insurance that we're proposing, and the breakdown of the health insurance, the fire wage adjustments, which is less than 0.5%, and then other random department increases over like the kind of 1.5. So just, I wanted to kind of put into perspective where those
Is that
increases came from.
personnel administration, is all of that 1.58 insurance?
I didn't break it
No,
down, I
okay.
just look at it as a whole,
I
but
just
majority of it is,
I
99%.
just didn't want to mistake.
I didn't get into the nitty gritty, because I think maybe one of our other insurances went up slightly, but the majority of it
I'm
is,
fine with that.
That's the big one.
that's a bit, right. But I just, like I said, I wanted to put into perspective where those increases came from, so we could, I can point it to the budget committee.
Just looking, what was the 2024 COLA?
Last year we did 2024 COLA,
3.2.
3.3, yeah.
3.2.
Yeah.
So we are right on track,
Yeah,
if you discount last year's obligations.
yeah.
Gotcha. Does anybody need the library budget?
Not you, buddy.
Told you I
I
gave you
don't
one.
have
I
it.
told you I gave you one.
And how many times did I say I don't have? Too funny. Okay, that's awesome.
That's a good job doing that breakdown.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
great.
Thank you.
That's helpful.
Half of that, you're right, is.
It was already obligated, the legislative body already voted on
Right.
it, it was already, it really shouldn't be factored into the total increase, because
But,
it was
yeah.
something that was, but,
Tommy,
town meeting
That's
voted.
the joys of municipal budgeting.
Right. So,
Now we have hearings, right?
yes,
And when does the budget committee have their first meeting?
tonight
Okay, that's why we're meeting early, right? What
Correct.
time do they start?
at
5:30.
5:30,
Okay, so we gotta be done by then.
correct.
Okay.
We have an
That's fine.
hour. I hope we could be done in an hour. It's not a hefty, agenda.
All right, minutes from last time.
We don't have minutes.
I haven't started.
No,
Got it.
look, this is my, I'm worried about it, babe.
Yeah.
You will have by the 17th.
That's
Oh.
fine. All right.
What do you think it is? Christmas or something?
All right, we got 2 public hearings to do. The Lincoln, I guess, I don't know if you know this, but the topic for the first public hearing is we have, an unanticipated receipt of funds of more than $10,000, which is a one-time bridge payment in accordance with New Hampshire House Bill 2, payment for maintenance, construction, and reconstruction of municipally owned bridges in the amount of $33,418.53. So this is from the state, because of that House Bill 2 appropriation. We get the 33 as a one-time payment this year. That is, we can hold that.
Non-lapsing.
Non-lapsing. and
Oh, good, that was one of my questions.
Yeah.
Non-lapsing.
And it goes into the general fund, though, correct?
We, essentially, yes, it will go into the general fund, but we account for it similar to we do the highway block grant, because the highway block
Okay.
grant goes into the general fund as well, but we have a separate accounting for it.
Okay.
That we track the ins and outs for,
Okay,
so it'll be essentially very similar to the highway block.
okay,
But is this earmarked specifically for?
You got it.
Okay, so it's gotta be.
Yes,
expended.
so it's gotta be its own separate thing, and it's gotta be specifically for bridges.
And how did they come up with that fund? You know, $33,000 doesn't do a lot for bridges these days.
No, so it was based on, it was a similar formula to the highway block grant, a percentage of what we received. It was what their surplus was and how they broke it down.
It was divided by what we have for bridges.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
this came from the feds?
this came from state of New Hampshire.
No, I mean, this granted, but their money, did it come from the feds? Do you know?
No, I believe it
This was
came,
New Hampshire.
I believe it came from their state of New Hampshire's surplus. I
Yeah,
believe.
exactly. Their unexpended fund balance.
Yeah, I don't believe it's federal funds,
Okay.
it's state funds.
I didn't know if it was just a pass.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a pass.
They do it based,
It was a House bill,
It
so
was-
it's a New Hampshire.
divided based on what you have for bridges. The towns that don't have any bridges didn't get any money. Towns that have
really?
20 bridges got more money. It's from when I read the thing.
I don't remember the exact formula, but the
Right.
state came up with the formula,
Right.
the state dispersed the funds, so.
And they referenced the highway block grant in the article.
Yes,
I read.
because we,
Yeah.
if you remember, a couple weeks ago, we accepted the additional one-time highway block
Right,
grant.
right,
They kind
yeah.
of sent them out as a package
Yeah.
deal where we each got a one-time for bridges and a one-time for highway block.
No, I mean, the reason why I asked that question, obviously, you have bridges in every community. Some get 10 cars a year, some get 10,000 cars a
Yeah.
year, so you need more funds to, repair, maintain the 10,000 traffic at.
Sure.
Versus the 100 cars.
Yeah, I don't remember the specific formula, how they did it,
And
but
I don't think they did because when I read it, it specifically said that, the town's population wasn't taken into account. It was the bridge itself. How many-
Age-wise, you mean?
yes, depreciation of current bridges is taken into account. It was a while ago that I read that. It's just an article I read.
Okay.
Well, because if you remember, the feds passed a major infrastructure bill.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Bridges were, a priority. I mean.
That
that's
was when
where
the president came to
president's-
Woodstock, yeah.
Thank you.
It was an interesting article. I believe it was in the Union Leader.
Send me a copy if you get it. I'd like to
Yeah, I'll try to look it up.
check into it.
yeah, and I know NHMA I have something from NHMA when they first announced it that said how they were gonna do the breakdown. I'm sure I can find that. for
Maybe
you
it'll
too.
be in the next
Yeah.
bulletin, their monthly newsletter.
Yeah,
Yeah, because all the towns just received it.
We need a
Right.
motion to accept.
well, first of all, we have to open up for a public hearing. So is there anyone who wants to comment on the, receiving $33,418.53 from the state of New Hampshire for bridges?
It's a one-time non-lapsing payment.
I mean, it's not enough money.
Wayne? David, online? No?
All right,
Okay,
All
I'll
right.
second his motion.
did you make the motion? You did,
To accept.
okay,
Second.
all those in favor?
Free money, I'll take it.
Yep.
Let's take it.
It's your money coming back. to you.
Exactly.
Right, next is a public hearing on establishment of fees, specifically regarding some proposed changes to dog registration fees. Looking to increase, altered, spayed or neutered dogs from $6.50 to $7.50. And unaltered from $9 to $10. The senior price of $2 will remain the same.
That's, senior owners, not.
So if you neuter a senior, it's $2.
Exactly. No,
So
That's
if the
senior
dog
owners.
is being registered by a senior citizen,
thank you.
Oh, okay, that's,
$2.
Correct.
Being registered by a non-senior citizen, it's either, it will be either $7.50 or $10 if we vote in these changes.
When was the last time they were changed? It's been forever. I'm trying to think. It was that $6.50 when I got Mac, when Arnold was 10. That was what, 17 years ago. So
Yeah.
it's been a while.
and these, fees are set by the town clerk, is that correct?
Well, they're set by the board. That's
Okay.
why we're here today.
She's requesting.
She's requesting.
Yes.
But that,
Actually,
she's requesting that the board increase it.
do you know when the last time they were changed?
I'm trying to think, it's
It's
been
been a
10
long
years.
time, yeah.
easily.
I don't remember voting on a change in this.
Yeah.
So that's 12
It's
years.
at least 12 years, yeah.
Then again, it could have been 10 years and I forgot. 'Cause it wasn't the biggest decision I've ever made at this table.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second,
All right, any input on the increase?
I'll make a motion to increase the dog registrations to $7.50 and $10.
I'll make a motion for the public hearing.
Second. I'll
All
make
those in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendations to
I'll
increase
second that.
dog licensing.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
We're just getting it done.
all right, all that exciting stuff, and now we have to go to the town manager's report.
Uh, Very exciting stuff. I don't have a formal report for you, but I do have an update on a couple of the things. We did receive our 2023 rooms and meals, tax, funding. We received it, on 12/22, and it's for $155,467.69.
That was our 2023.
2023 rooms, meals and rooms.
And is that reflected in this budget?
No, well, it would be reflected in the revenues, but it would be, we don't include it in a specific department.
No.
Yes.
But it is.
It'll be in the revenue.
It'll be in the revenues when we do the estimated revenues. Yes,
in
absolutely.
this report here.
No.
Those
that's
are only
budget.
expenditures.
We didn't look at revenues yet, did we?
No,
We looked at revenues. At the last meeting, the revenues were updated, but no, you haven't approved revenue, the estimated revenues. No, you haven't.
so we need to do that. at our
We need
next
to do
meeting,
that at the next meeting.
Which is, the 17th. We meet with Woodstock. Right,
Was
right.
it in the 12, I've got a 12-14 budget?
Mm-mm.
There weren't revenues in there either, that I.
When was the last time we met?
The Monday before
We
Christmas,
met on the
18th. Yeah, 18th.
It was,
Yeah, we haven't reviewed one compiled list of revenues, but in each of the individual departments, there is the offsetting revenues at the.
right,
the
right,
bottom
right,
of the
right. But we usually look at a one-page.
One page,
Summary.
I'll do the one pager for the 17th, that's easy enough to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually have the majority of it done because I had to send it to DRA in September, so it's just updating those numbers.
All right, on the 17th, that's a joint meeting with Woodstock.
Correct.
And the budget committees,
Budget committee, joint, yes, both
towns.
both towns.
Okay. And the purpose of that meeting is mainly to look at the budgets that we share.
You got it.
Okay. So we can, that is at what, 5:30,
Is when the budget committee meets.
right?
We meet at 4 that day.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Well, I don't have that on my calendar.
Okay.
It's right here. I'm so glad I found this thing, because I forgot we were meeting at 4 too, but.
got it.
Yeah, 4 o'clock PM is the joint BOS, 5:30 is the joint budget committee.
Got it. Okay,
It's designated. The lines. so-
okay. I need it on my phone.
Oh, okay, see.
No, we gotta get that.
Don't look at that as yet. All right, continue with your,
Oh, okay, so that was, rooms and meals. Just an update on a couple of the bigger projects that we have going on. Sam from Weston and Sampson has put a gentle nudge into DOT on the Route 3 water main project. There are a few things that they need to have kind of settled upon. One of them is being, on the exit 33, on and off ramps. There's some work that needs to be done in which we may need to cross where the water main goes, where we may need to cross where the interstate
Mhm.
goes. That's not a District 1 decision. That has to go to Concord and we have to deal with turnpikes for that. So we're waiting on they can't finalize the plans until they figure out what they're gonna have to do on the off ramps, on and off ramps. So Sam is reaching out to the DOT to try to get them to settle down a date and time where they can meet to kind of go over those things so they can finalize the plans before it goes out to bid this early winter, late winter. So
Sooner the better.
sooner the better,
Yeah.
exactly, but that's something that we kind of need to have
yeah,
identified before.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that's where we are with the Route 3 water main project right now,
okay, and just for the record, that's exit 34A.
34A.
Thank you.
Did I say
You
33?
did, but I knew what you meant.
34A, yes.
I knew what you.
So he's working with turnpikes to get that
Yep.
figured out. That's what Concord. And then on the tank project, it looked like a subcontractor for Calder. Calder is doing the site work to get the geotechnical equipment up to the tank location to do that work. Calder has subcontracted it out. They were supposed to start today to do that. So hopefully we will still be able to stay on schedule with the contractor, the geotechnical contractor, SW Cole, coming out later this month to conduct the work. So that is moving as well. Okay. In regards to the new PD, we set up today we established a work order for the temporary electricity for the construction trailer and whatever else they need out there. I spoke with Bill Johnstone. That has been put in, that's going. We gotta pay $280 is the fee to set it up, but it's relatively simple. And EPS should be out there shortly.
Did the state give permission to locate the trailer on their property?
I haven't heard the answer to that yet,
Okay.
but that was a request that they were putting in, so. I know that they had 2 different poles that they could work off. One was essentially on the other side of Pollard Road, closer to like where Deb Salino's house is, and the other side is actually, the other pole is actually on the lot, so they were figuring out which pole they were gonna connect to, depending on where the trailer was gonna go. So, but they have scheduled a site visit. BPS and the co-op are kind of doing that directly to schedule a site visit to figure out what's the best plan of attack for that. So those are our big projects. Moving on, I received also in regards to New Hampshire Electric Co-op, Drew Goddard reached out to me. We need to update our easement with the co-op for him to be able to connect the electricity to the new building. Right now, our easement with the co-op only allows for one singular line to go across the street and connect to that building. In order for the new building, they need 2 lines versus 1 line. So the co-op has asked if we would be willing to enter into a new easement or a new right of easement to include, they have an easement right now to change out the poles, to do whatever they want to that 1 line, but they don't have the right to put an additional line on that pole. So,
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I said it, I didn't see an issue with it, but then I
No,
would bring it
darn
to the board and
No cost, no cost.
no cost to us, no cost to us at all. It's essentially, we just have to sign an updated easement for them. So,
And the maintenance responsibility falls on the co-op.
correct, most of it's on the co-op. They have the right, that's part of the easement, it's the right to maintain, change out the poles, change out the equipment and do all that stuff. They just don't have the right to add.
Gotcha.
No line. So,
Do you want a motion right now that gives you permission to sign it on behalf of the town, so when you get it, you can just sign?
I have it right here, so it's up to you. Either you
Oh,
can sign it and date it. Perfect.
Yeah, I didn't know that you had it all
I do.
drafted.
The co-op drafted it.
Look at it, make the motion and then second it.
Fine.
I'm fine with it, yeah. And I spoke to the gentleman at the co-op and he explained it to me and
I'll make a motion
it's pretty
to
simple.
approve it as presented to the board.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
While you're signing that, I looked on the NHMA website. It's not the same article that I read about the bridges. However, it does say every municipality with a municipally owned bridge will receive a share. of 30. Says based on deck, a municipality's deck area proportional to the total deck area for municipally owned bridges. So they base it on deck.
The size of the bridge.
The bridge,
Yeah.
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 So we have
So,
a giant bridge down the road there that.
So
goes-
essentially a similar formula to the highway block. It's-
Right.
That's how, not highway block. Yeah. 5 roads.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yes, 6 and 5 roads.
And it did only, I was right, it did only go, every municipality with a municipally owned bridge. So if you don't own any bridges, you didn't get it.
You get it.
And that was just, I just searched that
Would you send that to me,
on the, yeah,
please?
it's
Thanks.
just a, NHMA thing that they sent out. Copy the link, can't send it.
This needs to be notarized.
Jane. you
Jane
know
can
the-
do it.
Do it. I'm signing this on my own free will.
I'll show you the knife I have inside.
There's a spot here for 2 signers. I don't know if that,
I don't know if it matters.
you would make a majority if you both signed it. Trip.
Sign away.
Okay.
Don't look at the knife OJ has in my sign.
Yeah. All right, so once that's notarized, we're good.
Awesome.
Okay, and then the last thing I have is, I'm not sure if the board is aware, but the Grafton County Broadband Committee that I was a part of the last few years was awarded the NTIA grant at the tune of $17 million,
Nice.
$18 million from the infrastructure, Biden's infrastructure bill.
Fantastic.
So they are holding what are they calling it? A roundtable discussion with officials from the White House and obviously the State House as well. And it's this upcoming Thursday in Sugar Hill at 3 o'clock. We've all been invited. I need to RSVP by 5 p.m. this evening. I've RSVP'd obviously for myself, but if any of the board.
Thursday, the 4th,
Yes.
at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock
In Sugar Hill.
at the Sugar Hill Meeting House.
I'm out. I mean,
Wonderful.
if nobody can go, I can jumble some stuff around and make it work.
Yeah. I think they just want to have a show, they're doing a whole roundtable discussion with representatives from the White House and NTIA and state and whatnot.
How
So
many committee members?
there were active. For the most part, there's been 3 of us. There was 5 in the beginning, and then it dwindled down to pretty much 3.
And how many towns are affected?
There's 36 communities in Grafton County. And there will be a spot in almost all 36 of those communities unless those communities, have, either they opt out or like Bristol did their own, broadband fiber product. Because there were certain aspects of the grant that, like, the federal funding couldn't be duplicated, so if any other community had already received federal funding to put in fiber optic cable to, they weren't eligible, so they did have to do some rerouting. The original project was upwards of 26 million, so it's been reduced to about 18, but it's still going to be a huge,
Fantastic.
a huge win for Grafton County.
I'm surprised that, based on what you just said, that
Okay,
only 5, towns committed to sending people or getting people involved in a committee.
Well, we were selected by the county commissioners.
Oh, okay.
So, it was actually, the attorney for the, county who had, some clients obviously throughout other communities and, the county commissioners appointed,
Oh, okay.
a
So it
committee.
was an appointed, not a-
Yeah.
Thank you.
You wanna go? Sure. All right, I will make sure your name's on the list right now. But I think it's gonna be great. I mean, Lincoln fares pretty well as far as broadband goes, but there are communities that don't have anything and wouldn't for a long time if the county didn't come in and help out, so. And that's all. Other than budget stuff coming up.
Yeah. All right, then let's, do you have anything?
The primary is that we meet again on the 17th. The joint meeting, isn't it?
Yeah.
The primary is the 23rd.
Yeah.
How late are the polls open that day, do we know?
8,
8?
right? Or was it 7?
7?
8 to 7. 8 to 7.
8 to 7?
I thought it was 8 to 7. I thought it
8
was
to
8 to
7
7 too.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's our typical schedule for federal elections.
I know I can't say for the whole thing. I gotta figure out how late I can be here.
I'm not gonna do it all.
Oh, perfect.
You'll be here?
23rd.
I can be here most of the day. But I'm gonna have to boogie in about 3:30-ish.
We should appoint a temporary.
I'll see who's there then.
The day.
Well, I can appoint someone to my representative.
Manifest for you all as well.
Thanks, Becky.
There are 2 different manifests. One is for 2023 and one is for 2024. We just like to keep it separate. just
Gotcha.
'cause they're
Yeah, of
cleaner.
course.
You had something else there too.
We have the trustee of trust funds.
Oh, gotcha.
manifest to sign.
Okay.
But let's move into, do you have anything for?
No, sir.
Then let's move into public participation.
Good. Hand me one of those. Thank
Anything?
you.
David, I'm on. Go ahead, Wayne.
One question. What's the status?
Nope, I have nothing.
Okay, thanks, David.
Status of the state.
I believe we are waiting for their contractor to come out and begin work. They were hoping to do it last fall.
There was so much rain last summer that they couldn't fit us in.
their
They were gonna start in the fall.
And if I understand, that's a special.
Correct.
It is, yeah, I think the
Yeah.
companies from
The
the
state
West
park
Coast, right?
committee has entered into a contract with, gosh. We were originally gonna go with Spawn Ranch, but we didn't have it. And I can't think of off the top of my head the name of the company that's doing it.
Held up by any.
No, it's just their schedule. They're fitting in, and we're small potatoes compared to some of the parks that they do. So it's not they're super nice and we are a priority for them, but we are not the highest
We're not-
priority, so, right.
What Jason LaFontaine and Kevin Bell indicated to me, I see both of them regularly. They indicated that the latter part of April was a hoping start date.
We were hoping for last fall, but when that didn't happen.
Yeah, but
now-
we knew
We knew that, right?
right
yeah,
away,
it
a
was
while
fine.
ago that that was not.
We're still hoping for it.
No,
Yes, Karina, could you explain that to me, questions I sent you, can we talk about that? The expenditures?
the fire department
Yeah.
budget?
Yeah.
Sure, if you'd like to, yeah.
Okay.
Al had emailed me earlier today to ask about the fire department expenditures, for 2023 and also the proposal for 2024.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, what specifically would you like me to talk about, Mr. Bullen?
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, last year they were funded 60,420,000 for wages, correct? Total
Uh,
wages,
No, that's only for the on-call.
the 134 total wages.
130, so this was something new that I added to the budget this year. Previously, we didn't have a column for expenditures. We were doing it on two separate documents. Remember, we had the budget in one hand and then we had the expenditures in the other hand. So I added the expenditures to this spreadsheet, but our accounting system doesn't break it down how we do the budget. So our accounting system only does it by the GAAP chart of accounts. So wages, all of the wages, the firefighters on call, the firefighter trainings, the chief health officer wages, the deputy chief wages, and the overtime wages account to 134,1144. So it's not broken down by those individual brackets. So the 134 is total out of everything. So we did go over budget in wages, but we went over by 28,000, not the 70 plus K. you
Where's
were
the state
referencing.
went over by 28,000?
Well, I'll show you right here.
400,
Here, here's an expenditure
105,
report that I have for the budget committee.
That was 28,000.
Well, if you take the difference out of 105 to 134,
Yes.
that's 28.
Okay.
Here's a.
So how did we go over so much?
Based on call volume this year and time on calls. It's pretty much a guess. We don't know how many calls we're gonna come in. We had about 250 calls this year,
253?
250 something calls. this
Two
year.
hundred and 59.
Some years are probably heavy years and some years are light years to this. 259, thanks, Dave.
Sorry, when the Highland Games, are they paid by us or by the Highland Games?
That is,
They're paid by us and then the town gets a reimbursement. But they have to be paid, the Highland Games pay them, we have to pay them.
right,
And whether we get reimbursed by whoever's, the Highland Games or anyone else, it's predetermined.
well, and to be honest, we give Highland Games $6,800 every year for the special details, so it's. We,
Alright.
in my mind, we are paying for them, but it's because we feel that the Highland Games brings an added value to the community, so we are willing to do so.
Is there necessary to have 12 to 14 people being paid for each day of the Highland Games?
Well, we don't have a staff of 12 to 14 people, we only have a staff of about,
At a 12 day, including the chief, the deputy chief, and
the chief is a stipend, so he wouldn't be getting an hourly wage, but I do think that when we have 30,000, 40,000 people in town, it is an
Quite a few that
all
were out
hands on
there.
deck scenario.
Quite a few that were up there as well. I'm just trying to picture in my head because I went up 2 of the 3 days. Were auxiliary. They were there for free. There was several wives, girlfriends, et cetera, that were there every day, you know, supporting our fire department, supporting whatever, our community. That's not paid. So it might have looked like there was 14. But half of those were.
one time I was there, I counted 14.
We don't even have 14 on-call members, so I don't know
Right.
how we would
It
have.
was wives, girlfriends, et cetera, that were supporting the,
Now, the on-call, the time on the calls have increased over the year.
I don't know that specifically, but I know that the amount of calls have increased, and also, yes, there are certain calls that are longer than other calls.
All right. I'm just saying because you look at certifications, a lot of these guys are only firefighter one,
Correct.
no EMS at all.
Well, we don't run an ambulance service.
You don't have to run an ambulance service, I mean, yeah.
Oh, very true, but we also don't run an ambulance service.
Right, you assist the EMS, but they can't because they have no EMS at all. How are these calls being so extended? If 8 or 9 or 10 people show up to a call, why do we need 8 or 9 people at a motor vehicle accident for a minor accident?
None of us here are qualified to make that decision. None of us.
Right,
It's not here, our deputy chief is not here, and I'm not gonna discuss that without them present. Because that's not our call to make, that's their call to make. And it's not your call to make, that's their call to
I'm
make.
not saying it's my fault.
And none of them are here, so I'm not gonna answer,
But
we
I-
aren't gonna answer
I know
that
what the
question.
right
without-
off is. You don't need the people.
We
You
aren't
have-
gonna answer that question without our chief or deputy chief here.
No,
to
I
answer.
sent the email to the chief a week ago with no answer, 0. I don't know of any fire chief that doesn't respond to an email. Trust me, if I get an email, I respond immediately, even if I'm not working. That's what the chief does, that's his job.
Did you have anything else, any other questions?
No, why?
I'm just curious.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not on site.
Yeah.
I'm not on those calls. I don't help people to go home on those calls, so I can't answer specifically, but I do know that it's not as simple as saying, we're at a car accident. You know, we had a car accident the other day, 2 weeks ago, a week before Christmas, and our guys were there 12 hours.
Hours and hours and hours.
Right, I mean, right.
Yeah.
We got home before they did.
Right,
Right,
right.
right. So,
That
and
was-
again, I'm not on scene to say, was that excessive, was it not excessive, but I know that they needed help on site and,
Right.
you know,
That was
10
not
o'clock at
excessive.
night,
Yeah,
so.
that was necessary and appreciated.
Right.
I'm just looking at it as, you know, I do the job every day and fiscally responsible. I just see a lot of waste, a lot of time where people can be, you know, we're having people respond from Jordan all the way up here, which is 10-12 minute ride up here. And then going to calls, and then why do we have 8, 9, 10 people at a call when you only need 2 or 3 or 4?
Again,
And again,
we're not
that-
answering
yeah.
that question.
I think it's important to look at the big picture on something like that. These are not highly hourly paid people that are milking the system. These are people who are really volunteers that get some sort of reimbursement, that are leaving their jobs to come do this, that are waking up at 3 a.m. to come do this. I mean, you know what this is all about.
I know more than any of you guys do.
You
And
absolutely.
so
do.
that's why I'm.
Right, so why are you preemptively setting us up to answer these questions when you already think you know the answer?
I guess it's
I'm not setting you up, I'm just asking.
okay, my answer to that is you gotta look at the big picture and how we as a town treat these people who come out of bed at 3 a.m. Do we send them back to save, $20? Or do they stay until the chief or who's ever on duty to charge of the scene?
You're right, that's
s- s-
exactly,
Sends them home.
exactly, right.
And, I think if we start. At some point, we're gonna go to, we're gonna need multiple full-time people when we can't get volunteers. In order to
But you're very
prolong,
fortunate you have
in order
10 to
to,
12 people.
in order to prolong the amount of time that we can rely on people who get out of bed at 3 a.m. as a volunteer and still have to go to their real job the next morning. I say we don't screw with, they stayed, 20 minutes or an hour more than we needed them. I think we're going down the wrong road. We start scrutinizing like that. If we're really gonna be hard ass like that, why don't we just get rid of them all and hire full-time people right now and take that
Quadruple the budget,
triple, yeah. I mean,
at least.
I don't think we're gonna save any money
Nope.
by getting rid of some people a couple hours early here or 20 minutes early there. That's my thought. Big picture,
Agreed.
long-term, big picture, I think is important. Anything else, public hearing? Do we have anything non-public we need to talk about?
Not that I can think of, unless,
I don't think there's nothing personnel or legal wise that I have questions about.
no, not that I'm aware.
I have nothing.
Where are we? One issue. It's not.
I know he's been served, and that's as far as I know.
We've received no payments, right?
No,
So that's accumulating every day.
correct. And I have no further update as far as the Wood trial or Nelson trial. They're still slated for
Are we still doing the,
April in February, I believe it is.
yeah, the
Yeah, that,
jury selection, is that right? Oh, no, the Nelson trial. Nelson trial is the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th.
Nelson trial is,
next month, 13th.
yeah,
13, 14, 15, 16.
yes,
That's what I have calendar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's fine. I'm concerned about the
April,
Wood trial
yeah,
being, I mean, is. I. Question, all right. My question is that a hard date that is absolutely gonna happen?
That,
The
that's
answer
when
is-
it's on the
is
court's,
no.
yeah, that's when it's on the court's schedule. When Jason, when the dates were originally set,
Mhm.
Jason reached out to the court and said, that is April vacation week. We are going to have trouble not only with jury selection and witness availability. And the court said, too bad, essentially. But again, we know how the court works and we know that trials can be delayed the Friday before it's supposed to start. So I know. I mean, I can reach back out to Jason and just let him know that 2 out of the 3 selectmen won't be here or something along those lines. And see if he can push the court.
see,
at
there's
all.
another volunteers. I mean, we're not, we have real lives and real jobs, and this is, for the most part, a volunteer position. And here I am contemplating canceling my family vacation
Right.
because we
Well,
have
right.
court. I mean, it's just, yeah, we have to appreciate our volunteers,
Well,
including ourselves. Reach out one more time.
I'll reach out to Jason,
It is-
just
it
like we
is what it is.
we discussed
No,
it, and
no.
there's a possibility that there'll be no, there will be no representation from the town of Lincoln if it's that week.
Unless
or
they
be
send their whole
limited
family
representation.
Joining them after.
I'm not gonna say that on my part yet. I'm emotionally invested.
Yeah, exactly. We
Okay.
all are.
I know,
mean,
but if I can make my schedule so that I can be here for that week.
Yeah,
Okay,
But I would hate to do that and then find out it's 1 week later.
right,
exactly.
because-
sure, I agreed, I mean,
I'm
absolutely.
Gonna end up sending my whole family off without me and then joining them 4 days later.
I will reach out to Jason again and see if there's anything that he can do.
Or 5 days later, but yeah,
I will do so.
awesome.
All right,
Thank you.
then if there's no non-public, motion to adjourn,
Second,
all those in favor?
what is it? Just a general donation?
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Wood trial dates.